Alex Jones. Who is he?
He's a I guess political activist. I guess you could call him that, right? A blogger,
A conspiracy theorist.
conspiracy theorist. Everybody has their strong opinions about him. I'm actually an Alex Jones fan myself.
Why are you his fan?
I just think he puts out he gives a lot of information that's accurate, that people could use, that not only do mainstream people miss, obviously because they're paid to miss it, but even a lot of conspiracy people miss. I think because he kind of doesn't go off in space too much with alien stuff. He deals with a lot of logical stuff that happens that you might miss.
So he's good for the logical people.
Yeah, yeah, no question. So I respect him. Of course, I don't get into the conspiracy stuff with him as much because in terms of some people have their own theories about what he is. I don't get into that because I know some people call anybody an agent.
That's true.
So
that's true.
There's people who wrote me and call me an agent before. So what does that mean for me?
Well, maybe that's agents just trying to pretend that other people are agents. You know what I mean? But what do you think about that girl who said that there's a Somali girl who's supposed to work for the CIA or something? Think that's real? Basically, she was like a girl. A girl wrote Alex Infowars, which is one of his websites, and then a girl wrote him back. I think her name is Molly. I don't even know, which is funny. But she wrote her back, and when she Googled her, she found out that she found her resume online, indicating that she worked for the CIA. So then, when the girl emailed her back, says, "Are you the same girl that worked for the CIA?" She got blacklisted from Infowars and all the other websites. Do you think that's legitimate?
It might be. I mean, it might be. See, the thing is though is that everybody is gonna have their own. When it comes to the intelligence community, it don't matter what CIA, Mossad, whoever you're talking about, it's gonna be a lot of things that they move very fast. So sometimes somebody could be accused of working for there. Somebody could say they're working for it, and they're really not. It's hard for me to get into it as much. I mean, trust me, Alex. I'm an Alex Jones fan, but there's a lot of things you could. If you want to pick holes in him, there's a lot of things you could pick holes in him with. Honestly.
Okay, well, what when it came to this one election with Barack Obama and stuff, I know he says it's independent. I just find it interesting that he's really emotional about this topic. You know what I mean? Because when you have people like Noam Chomsky or people like Ron Paul, who's like who sees the holes in the government structure, they're still not really as emotionally attached as he is, where he's like basically about to have a heart attack. I mean, the system's flawed, and obviously, if he's a conspiracy theorist and he sees it for what it is, and he's neutral with no attachments from either party, why is he so emotional about it?
Well,
and he even said his conspiracy kind of goes into Hurricane Katrina was Barack Obama's idea. Come on.
You mean Sandy.
Yeah. Hurricane Sandy in the East Coast when the election happened was all Barack Obama's idea. But then it happened in all the blue states. There's sometimes it's there's logic, but sometimes there's just not that much logic. Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Well, I think what happens is when you get into conspiracy, you do get paranoid after a while.
But then he doesn't. He talks so much about conspiracy, but then he supported Mitt Romney, and Mitt Romney's whole cabinet was basically Bush all over again.
He's gonna say he didn't support Mitt Romney. He's just gonna say if you go to what he says, he's gonna say he likes it balanced. He would say the media is pro Obama, so he likes it to be balanced. Now I would say this. I think
balance means not being emotionally attached.
No, yeah, it's true. But the thing is, when somebody says they're independent, I find you got real independents. See, I find this: you got two different independents. You got real independents who really are not emotional. They just want to see what either side could do for them. And then you got the independents that really lean towards one side and just saying independent because they know both sides are rigged.
Right.
I think Alex Jones is that. I think he's more of a Republican because he's small. He definitely says it. He's pro. He's small. He's for small government. So that's Republican. I think he's that. And I think the Republican Party is so rigged, he has to say he's independent, but I don't really truly believe he's independent. I mean, the fact that you even emotionally rather Mitt Romney win, when I'm going to say I'm independent, I could give a fuck whether it's Barack Obama or Mitt Romney. I really don't care who wins. It's the same shit to me. But him, you could kind of tell he's emotionally, he says he's independent, but he emotionally wanted Mitt Romney. So it kind of tells you you're kind of Republican, which is cool. But just admit what you are.
Yeah, you can't really say that you're balanced, and then you're talking about especially he's such a conspiracy theorist. I'm his Bohemian Grove.
So I guess you're not a fan.
No, I'm not. I like his work because sometimes he puts a lot of interesting information out there. But the thing is, if you're gonna give information, don't get emotionally attached to information. Just give it and let people decide on their own. But when you give information with expectations that people are supposed to ride with you, and then you're making the comedy shows are making fun of him, saying, he goes into this, he makes it personal. Like, I've been doing this for 1,000 years, my life, but it's like, just do it because you want the information out there. Don't do it because you have a personal expectation. But because you have an expectation that, okay, I'm giving you guys this information, so you guys better ride or die with me, then you're not really, you have a personal investment. You want people to believe in your opinion. But information is information. It's neutral. Let people kind of decipher it themselves. But when you get like really emotional about it, it's just kind of concerning because it seems like he has like maybe an agenda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't you kind of, you know what I mean? So it's like, and it's, especially if you're going to look at the conspiracy of the government. Everyone knows President Bush had a lot of holes in his argument and whatnot. And, he was all this like, this war is flawed, but then the same party that's supporting Mitt Romney, you're like, I chose him. It's like, well, you're going to basically choose another puppet again for, the big boys.
Well, to be fair, I mean, somebody can make the argument Barack Obama's a puppet too.
They're both puppets,
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, I'm for the most part, a president is the celebrity of the network, but there's obviously their cabinet is their advisors. So when you put the blame on all Barack Obama, you're falling for the illusion of power that I just think that they're giving it to him. Barack Obama just does what his cabinet wants. So look more at the cabinets, break down the cabinets. If you really want to make an argument, break down the cabinets. If he's not breaking down Mitt Romney's cabinets and he's putting it all on Mitt Romney, the personality of Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama. Okay, the debate. Who cares about debate? That's just like fake Super Bowl stuff. Mm-hmm. It's really about the policies. Anyone can go on top and like slip in a public speech. Does that mean that person's bad? No, they just messed up. But when you look more on like what they do in a debate, but do not look at the policies or the history or the cabinets or the structure or the foundation that they're built on, it's kind of concerning. So I think that's where he gets more into the personality. You know what I mean?
I think honestly, I mean, from my opinion, and I know people are gonna say because you like Alex, so you're gonna say it. I think my biggest thing with him is really more that he doesn't really have a plan. If that makes any sense. Like, he would actually talk about revolution and all this other stuff, but there's no real plan. There's no, like, he reports on magic, but he's scared of magic, right? Mm-hmm. This is my biggest thing with him. I know people are gonna say I'm a magician, but no. If I'm gonna fight a soldier, don't I have to know soldier stuff to fight a soldier? Like, that's just common sense. If I'm going to fight a soldier, don't I have to, or if I'm going to compete with a computer programmer, don't I have to know about computers? Mm-hmm. So my whole thing is, like, you report all the magical stuff with the Illuminati that they do, but it's more from a superficial
But he supports them.
Well, I'm not going to say he supports them, but it's more from a superficial standpoint. It's more like to scare people and to do this and to do that. But if you know anything, you're not going to have more guns than them, so you're going to have to learn magic to be able to compete with them. Mm-hmm. And I think that his agenda, if you want to make an argument, is flawed because you really can't be scared of it and then think you're going to fight them. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, it's like, that's the only thing, to me, that's the major thing that I would start to be like, even that girl that you talk about, I think she went onto his stuff, and I'm bad, this is a freestyle conversation, I don't even know her name.
Yeah, me neither.
From what I remember was something about a health issue, or some kind of health stuff, that's how she first was to come on, and he didn't want, I think it was more like, she was connected to somebody else who could cure cancer or something like that, and he didn't want the person on. I kind of know traditionally, anytime you start seeing people blocking people who could cure real diseases, and they block that from being on their show, and you're saying you're revolutionary, the lights always go off. Because they always say, like, the pharmaceutical industry actually runs stuff more than the oil. People talk about the oil, but pharmaceutical stuff, they really run stuff. Because the viruses, they got that. Mm-hmm. So they tell the oil companies what to do. People don't know that. They tell the banks what to do. They got the viruses.
Right.
You understand? So if you're scared to go up against them, something is a little fishy with that one. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're scared because you don't have the guts. But if you don't got the guts, then you shouldn't talk about the topic.
Yeah. It's just, I just, when you're like anti-Illuminati, anti-government, like Noam Chomsky, for example, he's a
brilliant dude.
Yeah, professor. He talks about all like the economy, the structure, the holes, the consumerism, but basically how the structure of our capitalistic society is and like the flaws it has in it with the bankings and Federal Reserves. But when he speaks, it's just like, he's just like, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's not going to be like, but you have to understand me, and America's going to die, we're going to fall apart. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's like, it's like a lot of times intellectuals, when they understand the system, they say, look, I'm just going to break it down for you. Remember that one documentary we saw? I forgot about it, and the guy was breaking down infrastructure. I mean, he was talking about peak oil. And
he was a CIA guy, though. He used to work for CIA, and he left. Do
you remember the documentary? That would be a good one to
the collapse or something like that.
Oh, yeah, the collapse or something.
But to be fair to him, he's a CIA guy. He's trained to be unemotional.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's more credible. Like, to me, it's more credible when someone reports on information and they're not emotionally attached. Because what happens is when you get too emotionally attached, you have a personal investment. So then it becomes biased because you want people to see it your way. Like a reporter, like for example, if you saw a reporter and they're like, "Oh my God, the World Trade is gonna," like it should just put off some red flags.
You're right, but I think part of Alex Jones' appeal is he's a regular guy reporting the news. Like he's not a journalist, he's not a CIA analyst, he's a regular dude. So
but he's given information though.
Yeah, but if you're a regular dude, you're gonna be emotional. Like I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying I expect it because he's not trained.
Okay.
Like you understand? Like he's
just a gung ho Texan, right?
Yeah, like even Ron Paul's a professional politician, so he's used to playing the game.
Yeah, but my thing is when it comes to September 11th.
I'm a Ron Paul fan, by the way. But go ahead.
Me too. But what I'm saying is, like, when you have like these emotional driven people in the public, it creates this hysteria. Okay, we saw this in Rwanda. We know they had like the guy, the DJ. He was like rallying up a lot of the people to do the killings on the radio. People in Hotel Rwanda, they can reference that. You have President Bush talk about our security, blah, 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 blah. And then you have like when you when you tap into people's emotions, you kind of disconnect them from logic. So then people get riled up because you can say you can get people doing things based on emotional reactions. So something simple, then you can get a whole crowd being like, "We gotta fight," and then everyone gets all crazy, and then you tap into that animalistic nature, and everyone goes crazy with the herd mentality. But sometimes, if you're gonna have people, and especially when he's talking about let's create a revolution, don't make people do it because they're emotionally, excited. Do it because they logically understand the concept. So when they're doing it, they're doing it from a balanced perception. But emotionally charging people, like we saw with September 11th, is not good. You have people just going crazy, and then you have these documentaries and these, red light, green light, blue light, and don't rile up people to follow you, because if you really have a good argument, then you can just speak of it on a very basic tone. But if you have to scream at people and we gotta do this, then it's like, why can't you just speak the knowledge? Why does it have to be so emotionally charged? Take out the emotion, and if you have a legitimate argument, it'll be seen. Like that's my problem with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I can't argue with nothing you just said. It's true. I just for me, I feel he's an everyday guy. And everyday guy is gonna have the same. I mean, it's like you see people on YouTube, like they get emotional. Like if you actually look at regular YouTubers' videos, they're not professionals. They're regular dudes or girls or women. Sorry, ladies, regular women making videos. You know what I mean? So it's like I understand it. You're right, but I kind of look at it differently. I can't expect that. I mean, that's part of his appeal.
It's good for his. It's also good for his health too. Like, all that fire that you're losing.
And let's be real. I know we're losing. I know we're running out of time, but let's be real. Let's keep it real. Alex is making a lot of money from what he's doing right now. He's making paper. He's not. He has his own. His stuff is huge right now. Let's keep it real. His audience hates Barack Obama, so he's gonna push. He's gonna definitely push more the Republican agenda, supposedly, because, in a sense, it's business. So once you get the business element kind of mixed in it, where it's more beneficial to relate to one side. Then you question.
Then let's be realistic. If he's a business person, then that means he's a businessman.
Of course.
He's just like a Republican telling you what to do. He's like, I'm making my money.
I mean, to me, both sides are business people, honestly.
They're all business people, but what I'm saying is, if you really want to be independent, just be independent. If you're making money off of information, then you really have an agenda. Like if you're really making money off this political game, then you probably are. You're just a Republican. It's all
you're
business
probably gonna
for
make money based on which sides and give you the most money.
Right, and then if you have people, I've seen him doing donations and stuff like that, and if you're doing like
nothing wrong with that,
which is fine. But I know people like National Public Radio, KPFA. People say like, okay, well, once you start having sponsors that are not of the people, then you're not for the people. Public sponsored people is for the people, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I think people are not being realistic in this day and time. How are you going to run big operations? Like, that's not realistic.
Why does it have to be big if it's just information?
Because the bigger the operation, the more people you can spread. That's the way. If you want a small operation, you go out in the country with 50 people with guns and you keep it moving like that. I mean, if you want to spread your information, you need big organizations to do.
But I'm not saying if you have information, you don't have to really worry about like organizations supporting you. The information will speak for itself.
I mean, I can see that, but I think it's more wishful thinking on that one.
Okay, so we just decided to disagree.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's about it.
All right, till next time. Peace.